like my memory has been going consistently and getting consistently worse over the past years. I too suffer from this, very or much lower attention span. So in a sense, I think we subconsciously also believe that, okay, the information is out there. I can reach out, I can access it at any point, so I don't have the need to kind of like store it into my brain, because it's just out there, it's just a click away.
Yeah, it's a click away. Yeah.
So I don't think that it's only that we're bombarded, we just rely also on our systems that they're going to be there and that they're not going to fail us. Simple example, do you know the number of your mom by heart?
Which number?
The mobile number.
The mobile number, no.
Exactly.
the only number I remember by heart is the number of the fixed line phone of my home in Sofia, my parents' home. That's that I remember it from my childhood, because that was the one that I was supposed to call from this like pay phones on the street and tell them I'm not coming back home tonight. I'm at a party, sorry.
And you have been in 80 countries around the globe, probably not always with a full battery charge. And most of them, or many of them, were developing countries. Yeah. So if you think about it, it will be very logical for you to memorize, the number of your mom.
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't want to say anything bad, but in the case of a situation, that's probably one of the first numbers that you would reach out to, or you would want someone to reach out to her.
And they still always ask me to text them.
But we do rely that, the systems that we have in place are not going to fail us. My phone is going to be there. I'm going to be able, to operate in the world because I have this supercomputer next to me. So I don't need to use these supercomputers to, memorize this kind of information. Yeah. And I think this is part of what is also playing a role in the whole thing. It's not only about being bombarded. Okay, but then how do we need to adapt the educational system so that they fit the world of today, in your opinion? I mean, I'm not going to ask you still about the skills of the future and what these kids would actually need, but what would be a proper way to train them so that they can operate in the world as it is today?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Mm-hmm. What I've seen that works pretty nicely is to give them like a purpose of what are they doing. So one of the ways to employ to improve the way they're learning is to involve, for example, project-based learning. It's a really powerful tool. You give them some kind of a project they need to work on, and they're really engaged. And it could be something very simple, like do a presentation or do a poster, and on certain topic, and do the research. And they also sometimes they do teamwork. And I remember we used to do that in school, but rarely when I was probably in high school. And I love that.
This actually, I'm so envious when I see them, because I'm mostly close to the startup bubble.
Yeah.
And I sometimes try to support these entrepreneurship programs for students at the university, or even younger students at school. And I see this awakened faces, this kind of eager, curious people. Young people, and it always charges me. So I actually go there from a very egoistic purposes, because I kind of thank from their energy. But it always surprised me how, you can listen to grown-ups talking how young people are not really engaged, they don't really care, that they just want to stay on their phones and play their video games, but actually they don't care about school. And then at the same time, you see them in these programs and they kind of lighten up. Yeah. And they are very emotional about it, and they really fight, and they enjoy being together and, working together. Okay. So now I can see your point.
It works for you. The other is games. I mean, games could be an amazing learning tool. I mean, even doesn't really need to be a specific educational game, but you can basically curate a course around an existing game. And I myself, for example, I improve a lot of my English by playing games. Yeah, and when I was young, I used to play a lot of strategy games. And
which were your favorites?
Civilization.
Oh, okay.
Mark Zuckerberg's favorite one. This is the reason why I got interested probably in working for the UN.
How many hours you have accumulated in playing Civilization?
A lot. I started playing from version 1.
Wow.
Still, that like I think it was launched in '91. I started playing in like probably '93 or
Wow.
'94,
Okay.
something like that.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's still
Okay.
a like black and white screen. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah, and they played, I think, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and as I said, I improved a lot of my English, as
Mm-hmm.
strategical thinking,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm actually now kind of like promoting the game. Sorry about that, unofficially, but it's just an example. And also, uh, it made me much more aware about political issues, history, and kind of this raised my interest
Interesting.
also in political things.
So it pretty much forged also a big part of your personality when you think
I
about
think,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay. And if you can I maybe ask you about the dark side of games, which is addiction. Yeah. How do you avoid that? Because I think
yeah,
when we talk about games, what we are activating is the pretty much the dopamine system, like the gratification system that we
Yeah.
have in place, and it is there for a reason. And it's not necessarily a bad thing when you kind of like synthesize dopamine because you have achieved something, but it can go also very wrong if you kind of like over activate it. So how do you find the golden middle in that?
yeah. That's a very good question.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it was a few years ago, probably like 6 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I was at a UNESCO conference. I think it was in India, and at this UNESCO conference, we would speak lots about games and how they can use in education. And I remember the very same day, WHO, another big international institution, also kind of like part of the UN world, announced game addiction as a disorder. That was very difficult for everybody who is kind of like a big facilitator and promoter of game-based learning to do it. And for me too, because I believe in that kind of too.
Yeah.
But it can happen, and that's why we still have, I believe, parents and teachers. And
Okay.
although the teacher role is now much more transforming, or it's supposed to transform into more like a facilitator, this is also something that they need to kind of observe and make sure that kids don't become addicted to certain games, because some of the games are really made to make it addictive, especially when it comes like this, as you say, the dopamine addiction, and that you are constantly getting this reward and you're basically craving for those rewards to come back. But the good thing about the games, the serious games and education games, that's beyond the rewards. That's why when we talk about the two things, one is the gamification, so you do something, you get a reward.
Yeah.
The game-based learning is a little bit of a different approach. You still have the reward-based system that you have in the games, but you have many more things. You know, you have the challenge thing, for example. You have the story that you kind of like connect to the story of the game, and many more things that are actually educational and also can grab you rather than just the whole think about getting the next reward.
And if you're just as passionate about innovation as we are, hit subscribe for the Recursive podcast on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. We're everywhere.